having has only one purpose, and that is to sacrifice. You sacrifice what you have for something greater.
So for today's little Karma Yoga talk, I wanted to take a moment to address the fundamental ingredient of Karma Yoga, which is sacrifice. Once you will get to study the Great Cosmic Power Tripura by Ravi, you know that her grace bestows the specific state of Karma Yoga, the capacity to really feel God acting through you. And of course, she is in the same time the great cosmic power of sacrifice. That is her big name. Also the great cosmic power of tapas, the capacity to discipline ourselves beyond what might be comfortable, beyond what might be known to us, beyond what we might understand and currently comprehend, beyond what might come easy to us or might be inspiring to us or joyful to us or anything like that. But to be able to push beyond any preferences that we might have, beyond any ideas of stuff that we might have, beyond any limits that we might have. That is the real entrance gate into the state of Karma Yoga. Now, at the practical level, this means to continuously check with ourselves whether or not we are sacrificing, whether or not we are acting due to necessity and not due to what we want and what we find nice and fitting and so forth. Obviously, there is an importance to create a life of harmony, but that shouldn't be the harmony of the ego, but the harmony of the godly nature, which then manifests through us. And guess what? The sister of the goddess of sacrifice is the goddess of harmony. They belong together. And egoistic harmony, that is counting the hours to the second and then stopping in the moment and then getting tensed if I'm not being compensated in this and that way, or being only focused on, well, this is on my list, these are my tasks, and I will never look beyond them. And if I see that the toilet is awfully dirty, that's not my area, I'm not touching that. You are in that way removing yourself from the great, great rewards that come from a truthfully performed Karma Yoga practice. In that moment when sacrifice is lacking from the Karma Yoga practice, Karma Yoga just becomes an action. It's just something you do. It's a little movement within creation. But it is no longer a movement integrated into the godly will. It is no longer a movement that increases inside of you the resonance with the godly attributes, with the godly nature. For that, sacrifice is required. And I would invite you to check with yourself, what is it within your day-to-day activities, within your the jobs that you do, because let's do those also as a Karma Yoga attitude, within your relationships, within your practice, within your day-to-day experience, where can you make for you a sacrifice? Because for some of you, it is very, very easy and aligned with your personality to do 3, 4, 5 hours of yoga, or to do a task very diligently and to the detail, or to make a nice spreadsheet, or to be spontaneous. Yeah, for each of you, you have something that you're very, very good with. What is your sacrifice? What is it that you can put on the altar towards God? This is what will create the connection. You know, if like in that beautiful story from Papaji, you can watch on YouTube. It's called Show Me God from Papaji. It's a sweet 10 minutes clip where he describes the story of a child that would ask him, please show me God. Tell me, how can I be with God? How can I see God? And then Papaji would say, okay, you need to offer something. And the little child would say, okay, yeah, my mommy gives me chocolate. And I could offer the chocolate. And then he says, very good. And then the child sits with the chocolate and she says, but where is God? I have the chocolate in my hand. Why can I not see God? And Papaji says, well, you need to offer. And then when you offer the chocolate, then God will show. And sure enough, the little one offers and can see God immediately. It's a symbol, this offering. Also, you see it in many different traditions, this idea of putting something on the altar. It is this idea of making one step towards God, and then God makes 1,000 steps, 10,000 steps, 99 steps, whatever the number is. All the other steps God will make towards you. But the way of making the step is due to sacrifice. Is only if you understand what inside of your being needs to be sacrificed. Maybe you have some laziness that you need to sacrifice. Maybe you have some rigidity that you need to sacrifice. Maybe you have some stubbornness that you need to sacrifice. Maybe you have some superficiality that you need to sacrifice. Maybe you have a belief that you're stupid that you need to sacrifice. Maybe you have a belief that you're intelligent that you need to sacrifice. Just whatever it is that is your thing to sacrifice, that would hurt a little, not in the heart, in the ego, will hurt a little, but will free your heart. That is the thing to put on the altar towards God. And that is what will make your karma yoga activity an actual practice. And not just some hours of acting and of doing something so we can say, well, I'm also volunteering and I'm also having a social time. All of these are good things, nothing wrong with them. But if you are in for the practice, if you want to feel God through this, sacrifice is absolutely essential. And finally, before we hear some more masculine approach, I want to remind you of this beautiful story of Gandhi, who was to speak where?
In the Indian Congress. Before the formation of India, they would have their Congress, all the who's and who's for.
And he had the chance to speak in front of them. And he missed his speech. Everybody's searching what's going on, where were you, what's happening. He said, well, the toilet was dirty, so I cleaned the toilet. It is as simple as that. If you think you are too proud to do something, you are too small to do something else, you are too this, to do that, no. What God puts in front of you now, the evident thing that He's pointing at, do it. No matter what excuse you might find, no matter what explanations you need, no matter how you want to make a plan and then to cross-reference it and to brainstorm. No. Do what God puts in front of you now and sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed in order to do that. And that will further your development on this path of karma yoga.
If we look at this game of sacrifice and karma yoga from the perspective of the whole and the part was created for the whole. The body creates blood cells and immune cells for what? He's not selling them. Yeah, he's creating those cells for the entirety of the body. And us as parts in the universal whole, we are created and we exist as a part for the whole. Now, the part receives the capacity to act. The blood cells have their capacity to transfer oxygen, the immune cells their capacity to fight. And that aspect, whatever quality, whatever power the part receives, you receive what you have in order to sacrifice. Having has only one purpose, and that is to sacrifice. You sacrifice what you have for something greater. You sacrifice your time and your capacity to transfer oxygen in order to help the body. And in the process, the cells, they maintain themselves. They eat glucose, whatever, ATP molecules. They maintain themselves in the process. They don't get worn out after 3 times. They only transfer the oxygen and then they die of exhaustion. There is a certain self-mechanism which is maintaining them, but they are maintained to serve. The only reason why they have a power is for the whole. And the only reason that we have our capacity to speak, to act, our vitality, our capacity to think, it is to serve something greater. and to sacrifice what we have, our body, our money, our friends, everything, to sacrifice towards a higher goal. Now, when we start to do an action like karma yoga, like seva, like volunteering, in the beginning it is a necessary sacrifice, because some of the time that we were investing in a selfish way for whatever, eating, drinking, entertainment, rest, we are now investing towards something which is more abstract and higher, bigger than us. A spiritual community, the planet, the earth, the universe, something. Something that's bigger than Uriel, bigger than Blandine, bigger than us. And as we start to do karma yoga and to volunteer, there is a spark in our eyes. Because when we reassume the covenant between the whole and the part, by starting to serve the whole, we start to make our steps, as Blandine mentioned, to serve the whole responds and loves us back. And then our eyes are sparkling. What happens after a while, you do your volunteer work and you agree to do such amount of hours, such amount of this, and you forget the principles of karma yoga, you enter in habit. And so this cools down. And then you do your hours for me, because I need to finish it. Inwardly, it is stored. Why am I doing this? Not for the whole. I do it for me. And then if our intention and our motivation, well, I need to finish this and then I have to do something else. I have a movie to watch tonight, finish. Then the work itself, the karma yoga itself, gets like a crust. And it is still with a certain orientation, a certain remembrance that I do it for something greater than myself, but it's already with the crust that I just got to finish my duties. And you don't need to discourage with this crust. It happens to all of us. It happens to us. It happens to everyone. It just happens in the process of karma yoga. You get egoistic crust. Because we are not trained to be selfless. We are trained to be selfish. And now we got to retrain that skill. When our 20 hours are finished, our 5 hours are finished, our task is finished, then we have completely, let's say, all the work that is done for the crust is done. And then if we do 5 hours and a half, half an hour extra, that is not for the crust. And the crust hates it. The ego hates that we have to do another half an hour. But if you do it, and you do your sacrifice, being relaxed, being happy, you become extremely joyful. And it feels like your first day of karma yoga. The eyes are glittering again. The 5 hours, it was the crust. I'll do the 5 hours for me. But the extra half an hour, what I'm doing now, I guess I actually love this spiritual school, this community, this earth, this universe. I guess I actually love it because I'm doing something extra. I'm sacrificing half an hour of movie time in order to write this or to clean that. And then we have again this feeling, I must really love it. And we work out of love and we get all the benefits of love and all the benefits of reserving the whole. And I remember in many teams that I work with, we would intentionally, repeatedly stay over time. For the joy of it. And it would be like, guys, whoever wants to go home, it's 5:30. Often nobody would go home. We go home at 6, we go home at 7. We can do what we do tomorrow also. But this sweetens the heart. It's difficult on the muscles, but it sweetens the heart. So what? Let's return these muscles when we die, let's return them properly worn out. But let's die with a smile and with a sweet heart. Much more important than I died well rested. I barely used my heart, I barely used my brain, I barely used my muscle. Here is the body, it's as good as it was in birth. I kept myself very, very well kept. I sacrificed nothing. I worked solely for my maintenance. I can be a mummy in the pyramids in Egypt. My body, my corpse will live forever. Great. Yeah? So this particular extra effort is a key to keep the liveliness of karma yoga. Because people, after a while, they say, well, it's not working. In the beginning, I was very enthusiastic, but now it doesn't seem to work. Yeah, because you have this crust, and it's normal to have it. Because we take the task and we say, okay, this is me. I do it to finish my tasks. I don't remember so much that I love. Fine. Do a little bit extra, and you remember. And then the next day when you come, you have less of a crust. Because the heart is sweetened already from yesterday, and you remember. I do these 5 hours, that is my daily thing, because I really love and believe in these ideas. And I really love all the people that will receive these ideas, or all the people that will sit on this toilet, or whatever it is you're doing with your karma yoga. The heart is sweetened in that way, and it's essential. If you have a system, and I've seen systems and ashrams and so forth, monasteries, if all you have is a system where everything is clear and everybody is doing their task without fail, you have a community of shells, of selfish shells. And there is no heart everywhere. It's just dead. There is no joy. So this extra sacrifice is always needed. And we always have to, when there is the chance, and even to create the chances to do that little bit of extra, have a little bit of a pain, a little bit, but now I'm tired. Yeah, great, let me do it when I'm tired. So much I love. Yeah? But parents get it sometimes with their children, if they have the correct attitude, because the whole is the family. Oh, I'm so tired, but he's sick, I take him to the hospital. Yeah? There is a sweetness there, because it creates a selflessness. It creates a sacrifice to the whole. And what happens when you do these sacrifices, today you are tired, but tomorrow you are empowered by the whole. Because as you do your duties for the whole will bombard you with tools and inspirations, with charisma and aspiration.
And joy.
And joy and dynamism and wittiness. All the tools for the tasks, because you are working for something greater. So it is a fundamental key. You cannot really do karma yoga and enjoy it and be integrated and aligned if everything is in a box. The sacrifice is always a little bit out of the box, or completely out of the box. Yeah, and one time, Advaita and Greek, they were somewhere where there was some kind of construction in the time of the construction there, and a truck full of cement bags arrived. And it was the middle of the night, and Greek said to Ava, let us take all these sacks. And it was already night, they were already finished working for the whole day. And Advaita said, shall we wake up the people in the ashram? There's so many men there. He says, no, they're sleeping. Let's just do it, the two of us. And he was already not so young, you know. Greek, yeah. So they took the entire truck through the night, the two of them, and put it there. But it was an example. The work day was finished. Everybody was sleeping. For some reason, the truck arrived in the night. And they are both very busy individuals.
But they were there.
Yeah, they were there, and that was needed. And they have many other tasks that they can do and others cannot do. But nevertheless, they were there. The other people were sleeping. Let them sleep. And in this way, their heart is sweetened. And they are just put there in this place of alignment.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.